Cicero, Epistulae Ad Atticum, Episode 11. Ego autem quae dicenda fuerunt, de te non praeterii, quid autem contendendum esset, ex tua putabam voluntatem me statuere apportere, quam si ad me perscripseris, intelliges me neque diligentiorem esse voluisse, quam tu esses neque negligentiorem fore, quam tu velis. The autem here is adversative, and refers to what was found in the previous episode, which the viewer should consult. But I, quae dicenda fuerunt de te, this is a relative clause and functions as the object of the verb praeterii. Praeterii is from the irregular verb praetereo, which is fourth conjugation praeterire, which means to pass over, to pass by, and this ending tells us it's first singular perfect. But I have not neglected, I have not overlooked, quae dicenda fuerunt de te, the things which, dicenda fuerunt, were to be said, or needed to be said, about you. So dicenda is a gerundive, that is, it's a future passive participle, and used here with a form of esse, namely fuerunt, it is a periphrastic. I have not passed over the things which should have been said about you. But autem, quid contendendum esset. Here's another passive periphrastic, this from the third conjugation verb contendo, contendere, which means to strive or to make an effort. But as to what ought to have been tried, this with the imperfect of sum means a past obligation or past necessity with this gerundive. But as to what ought to have been tried, what I really ought to have done, putabam, I was thinking that I ought to apportere, draw my conclusion, statuere, ex tua voluntate, from your wish. The syntax here is put together in a very beautiful and yet somewhat complicated fashion. Quid autem contendendum esset. This phrase, or relative clause, is really the object of statuere. So, from your wish, ex tua voluntate, I was thinking that I, me is masculine, singular, and accusative as the subject of apportere, and apportere is the infinitive, since the subject of an infinitive is always accusative. I was thinking that I ought to determine or decide, statuere, to decide what ought to have been done, what ought to have been tried. I should make that determination ex tua voluntate. This word here, putabam, the main verb of this part of the sentence, falls right between ex tua and voluntate, and this iconic word order that paints a picture, is meant to convey the idea that Cicero views himself solidly within the wishes of Atticus, because notice how the verb that refers to him, putabam, first singular, is right there between tua, Atticus, and voluntata, Atticus's wish, and then me, which refers to Cicero also, is juxtaposed next to voluntate. So there's a great deal of style and artistry in this syntax. Quam here, feminine, singular, and accusative, is a relative pronoun whose antecedent is voluntate. If, to me, you shall write, perscripseris, this is future, perfect, indicative. If you shall have written to me this, namely your wish, intelliges, you will find. This conditional then, si, plus a future, actually a future perfect indicative, and then a future indicative in the apodosis, this is a future more vivid construction, or a simple fact future. So if you will write to me, or you will describe your will, quam, you will learn, intelliges, that I neither wanted to be more careful, diligentiorem, than you were, quam tu esses. I neither wanted to be diligentiorem, and of course me is accusative because intelliges introduces oratio obliqua, indirect statement. The verb of the indirect statement is voluisse, that I neither wanted to be, and then esse depends on voluisse, and diligentiorem accusative because it's the predicate of may. I neither wanted to be more careful than you actually were, nor did I want to be more negligent or less careful than you wanted me to be. There's a wonderful symmetry in these clauses with diligentiorem in the comparative. It's a comparative adjective, masculine, singular, accusative, and negligentiorem, same gender, number, and case, because they both refer to may, and they're both preceded by neque. Neque diligentiorem, neque negligentiorem. Esse, the infinitive, follows the comparative, and fore, the future infinitive, follows the comparative. Voluisse is answered by quam tu velis, which corresponds also to quam tu esses. So this is a dizzying and dazzling Latin construction or set of constructions that repays careful attention and study.